Thank you so much, Priscilla, for joining me today and for welcoming me in your beautiful house here in New Jersey. And my question to you is on Medicaid. I know you're so impassioned about your advocacy to please do not cut Medicaid because it's for the welfare of persons like you with special needs. And now that it has already been approved by the Senate and Congress, the lower house is deliberating on it. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, thank you, Mary Bear, for
Mm-hmm.
this warm introduction. Really appreciate it as well.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to say that my thoughts about this situation is that
Yeah.
unfortunately it is not what we expect because, Medicaid is not only a health for healthcare, but also it is a social protection system.
Right.
That is one of the things that I had mentioned all along when I do my advocacy work,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's writing a testimony or writing for a letters for Congress. And we still have to continue this fight for Medicaid because there are so many people in New Jersey, at least 1.6 to 1.8 million people are affected by these cuts. And it is not fair for people to not get the services that they need. And speaking of that, I would
Mhm.
like to say that a couple days ago, I
Yeah.
listened to a session. There
Okay.
was a listening session
Mhm.
about people having to tell their stories of families
Mhm.
living in long term care facilities.
Right.
And most of the time, those people who live in long term care facilities have many complex conditions.
Right.
And oftentimes, these people rely on these social protection systems like Medicaid
Mhm.
or Medicare. So when those services are impacted, they're not going to have reliable services like, for example, the direct professional service people who are able to do anything from their daily living tasks to assisting them to walk. Because if they don't have those people for support, they're not going to be able to live a good quality of life because they need the assistance.
Right.
So by cutting out these kind of services, then many people will have a hard time being able to participate in society. They won't be able to live independently, or at least in that case interdependently, because they depend on another person
Mhm.
for their assistance, for having the opportunity to to facilitate those tasks.
Right. In your case, Priscilla, what are your like? Do you have anxiety on most likely what services will no longer be available to you?
Well, for me, the services would be mostly healthcare because
Mhm.
I rely on insurance for having my regular eye checks
Mhm.
since I have the condition of retinopathy of prematurity.
Mhm.
And and I've had recently had an episodes where my eyes would hurt.
Oh,
Yeah. And I had to go to the doctor to get eye drops to maintain my eye health.
so is that for like for life supposedly, or it's just for a period?
Well, it says in a as needed basis,
Mm,
so that my eyes don't get dry.
I see. So conditions like this, you're supposed to be very keen at monitoring your situation, right?
Correct.
So that's why Medicaid or Medicare is important. Now, in what conceptually or theoretically, when all, particularly for you, when the support is gone, it will be out of pocket from you already or your mom, right?
Well, it would be for most people.
And also you, of course.
Yeah, it would be because it depends on the cost of the medications.
Right, right. And so, Priscilla, if you were to talk to your congressman, who is your congressman in this district?
Well, the congressman, it was Rob Menendez.
Uh-huh. And oh, so
Oh,
he's still
that is for District 8. But for
uh-huh.
District 10 is Monica MacGyver.
So would you like to
The
send a
Monica
message to
MacGyver.
her?
Yes.
What do you want to tell her to listen to you as a constituent?
Well, I would like to send to the Congress people
Mhm.
to please reconsider your proposal because it is not just about healthcare. It is about social protection. It is about making sure that people who have disabilities or any kind of condition, whether it's physical or mental health issues, that they have those services. Because also, when you have health insurance,
Mhm.
if you don't get the proper care for the conditions, then it would become more complicated. So, please consider those people and please consider the actions that you negotiate when it comes to this kind of proposal.
Thank you, Priscilla. I know that you are a young leader and a very responsible person. So, how do you envision yourself within this year? What are your projects? What are your plans moving forward? The intermediate plans.
Continue advocate. My plans are to continue advocating
Mm-hmm.
for peace,
Mm-hmm.
to continue on this new and exciting project of of sharing my story on a
Mm-hmm.
different platform, which
Right.
which would be more exposure so that people can become more inspired.
Mhm.
And not only that, but also to educate people because that's the goal.
Right. So that we're going to see a podcast of yours, right?
Yes, of course.
Amazing.
Yes.
And in the like that's immediate. But do you have like a 5-year plan? What's your plan? How does young people like you think? What is in your mind, Priscilla? Share with us.
In my mind,
Yeah.
I would think I want to be sure to continue being a UN rep, but I
Mm-hmm.
want it to be in a more permanent basis
Uh-huh.
because we don't have to advocate here in New Jersey, but also internationally.
Okay. So you're hoping that it's going to be a permanent representation.
That is something that I aspire.
Looking forward, I think that's going to happen because we see you as being very dedicated and inspiring with your advocacy and your leadership. So I'm sure that's going to happen in a matter of time.
Whether it's writing your own story, whether it's sharing it through podcasts,
Uh-huh.
those are all good mediums. And that is something that I also want to do is continue writing
Okay.
my story as well.
That's all the best for your plans, Priscilla. And thank you once again. And I'll see you in our future projects.
Of
Thank
course.
you for sharing your time with me.
Thank you for for the support. Thank you for for supporting me, not only me, but also for supporting all the other women around the world as well.
It's my pleasure. I get inspired by everyone, especially from you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Priscilla. See you again.
You too.
Okay, bye.